Hey, I'm ChristopherJMUA and welcome back to my channel. Unless you've never been here, of course, then welcome. I am so glad you've stopped by. Today, we're going to be reviewing the Colourpop X Animal Crossing collection. I don't know a whole lot about Animal Crossing, but I do know a whole lot about Colourpop. So I've at least got one foot in the door. Now, if you'd like to see all the products in this collection, see what the eyeshadow palettes look like, how they swatch and perform, as well as every other product, if you'd like to know more information on the collection and what my initial first impressions are, then stay exactly where you are, keep doing exactly what you're doing, and keep on watching. So this collection is pretty large for a Colourpop collection, to me anyway. We have 4 different color stories for eyeshadow palettes, a mint, a purple, a pink, and an orange. Then we have 2 pressed powder blushes, 3 Just a Tint mini duos, 1 Super Shock shadow, as well as a Glitterily Obsessed. And I'm so obsessed with the Glitterily Obsessed. I always get excited when they launch these. Now I'm going to go ahead and swatch everything but the eyeshadow palettes just to let you know what everything is, what it looks like, as well as the pricing information. So first, let's check out the blushes. These are both pressed powder blushes. One is called Flower Power and the other is Flower Tender. That's super cute. These are $12 each individually, or you can buy both of them in a bundle for $24. Here is Flower Power. And Flower Power looks like a soft, dusty, mauve rose with little pieces of glitter in it. It is one of their sequin type formulas, but the glitter does dissipate pretty quickly. Then Flower Tender is a little bit more potent at the bottom. It's a more vibrant pink with maybe a slight tint of coral within it, just a little bit. Both very pretty though. Then we've got the 3 Just a Tint lip duos, Fruit Roots, Fruit Basket, and Pick of the Bunch. And here we have Orange Cutie on top and Peach Surprise on the bottom. These are also $12 for each bundle, or you can get the entire set of 6 for $36. Next are the shades Incomparable and Coconut Juice, and these are from the Pick of the Bunch bundle. Then the last bundle is Fruit Basket with the shades Juicy Apple on top and Cherry Cherry on bottom. By the way, all of these shade names are also scented the exact same as the actual shade name, so that is another adorable touch. Then last, we've got 4 absolutely adorable eyeshadow palettes. Each one is $12, or you can get the entire set for $48. The mint palette is Nook Ink. The pink palette is 5 Star Island. The purple palette, which is probably my favorite, is La Belle of the Ball. Then the orangey corally neutral palette is What a Hoot. Now we're going to go ahead and get zoomed in so I can show you guys the swatches. Also, I realize my nails look absolutely terrible. You gotta give me a break on these. You know, it was the first time I'd done my nails, acrylic nails, in well over a year, so I don't think they're so bad. Anyway, moving on. The first shade in the Nook Ink palette is Yes Yes. Made in the shade CEO. And Water Landing. And now the first shade in the 5 Star Island palette is Isabelle. Then Island Tune. Island Designer. And Resident Rep. The first shade in the La Belle of the Ball palette is Able Sisters, Taylor's Ticket, Custom Design, and Serene Sable. And now the first shade in the very last but certainly not least palette, what a hoot, is the shade Meteor Shower. Then the shade Celestial. All Aflutter. And Whoo! And there is every single shade from every single palette from the Colourpop X Animal Crossing collection. As always, I will insert photos of the swatches, one with flash here, and one without flash here. And here we have our video close-up of every single swatch. So much glitter. I did go ahead and prime my eyes off camera using the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base in the shade Fair. If you guys have been interested in the Clean Canvas Eye Base and you'd like to pick some up, I do have my affiliate link listed down below underneath the Gerard Cosmetics affiliate link label. So if you do want to try it out and support my channel a little bit as well, you can follow that link or use the code ChristopherJMUA to save 30% off of your purchases? Question mark? I'm pretty sure that's the right amount. Anyway, eyes are primed, and I noticed after doing these swatches, and really if I just would have really looked at the palettes, I would have noticed as well, but they are all perfect monochromatic palettes. Every single palette has the same eyeshadow formula layout, so you have a matte, a metallic, a glitter, and a sequin shade. And that's in all four of them. So you literally have the perfect look for every color story. However, today I'm going to be using multiple palettes to create one look so that we can kind of test out all different color stories into one look. That being said, I'm going to start by using the Coca-Cola X Morphe Pointed Blender Brush. It's pretty much a Morphe M503, I believe, and I'm going to go into the shade Water Landing. And as per usual, I have no real plan. I just know that I want to use most of the mattes to build my crease up. Then I'll go in with the shimmers or glitters on the top of it. So currently I'm really just trying to work from dark to light and see what I can come up with on the crease, because I don't know yet. This green, however, is just going to be in the crease. Just going to make one solid line all the way across, except for avoiding the inner corner. I think I'm going to use a pink or maybe a light brown there. I don't know yet. So do you guys play Animal Crossing? Have you played Animal Crossing? Let me know in the comments if it's something that you love. I know it's been really, really popular lately and super trendy, hence why I believe Colourpop jumped on the bandwagon. I myself played Animal Crossing probably for 2 weeks at one point whenever it first came out on GameCube. This was a really long time ago. I was probably 13, 14, 15, something like that. And I remember my friend Mikey, he had a GameCube and he had just got Animal Crossing, but he kept wanting to switch from Animal Crossing and play, I forgot what it was called. It's where you can be all different characters and you battle each other. You can be Mario, Luigi, Kirby, you can be Pikachu, Zelda. What was that game called? I know one of you guys have played it. Let me know in the comments what that game was called. But that was the last time I ever played Animal Crossing. What I remember, it was super cute and you had like bubbly, cartoonish characters and it was really fun. I actually enjoyed it. I just haven't played New Horizons or anything or any Animal Crossing past the first one. I'm also going to pull this green out a little bit just to start a little bit of a wing shape. I'm not going to pull it up very high though because I don't want the green, I don't think anyway, to be the brunt of the look. I want it to just be almost the deepest point of the look just to add a little bit of dimension. That's already so fun. I love that. Just a cute little wing shape, that's all. Now that I've gotten Water Landing from the Nook Ink palette applied all in the crease, I'm going to go in with the Doll 10 Transition Transformer brush and go into the shade Island Tune from the 5 Star Island palette. And this shade is going to go all up inside my inner corner crease. I'm going to start it right on the inner corner, but expand it out just a little bit, and then start pulling it over into the green shade. Now I'm not going to start blending the shades yet until I actually get the pink applied and built up everywhere, because if I start getting green on this brush, it's going to completely change the color of what's on it, and I don't want the pink that I'm putting on the inner corner to be any less intense than what it is currently. It's so fun already! It's just a little pop of pink, but it's super cute. I actually really like this collection. Can you tell already? I mean, I'm experiencing the same type of Colourpop formula that you usually experience with their smaller palettes, really with all their palettes. I'm getting nice pigmentation whenever I go to apply, and I'm about to find out if I continue to get great blendability just like I normally do. It's even better because we're starting to get into that time of year where we start using all of the colors I love on the eyes. I mean, spring and summer, it's just a time to be colorful if you want to be colorful. So I love it. And now just gonna pull this out and start blending into the green. Very lightly. I'm also going to use the pink soaked brush to pull the green inward a little bit. That way the green doesn't get too heavy and start taking over the look, since the bristles of the brush are covered with pink already. That's so cool. It's like the pink tones the green out a little bit and turns it more into a blue as it blends inward. It's really cool. Now we're going to use the What a Hoot palette and go into the Celestial shade. It's the sequin shade, but it's a light corally color. I think it will be really pretty to blend out both of these shades. So I'm going to take it all along the upper portion right by the brow bone and just blend out both of these with that. Hopefully it will be as pretty as what I see in my head. I'm also using another Morphe M506 brush, except this is from another collection I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's the same as the previous. Yeah, same as the previous brush. These are just great brushes if you ever want any detail at all. And most of my brushes are dirty right now. I think I'm on like my 5th application without washing brushes. So I have a giant pile of dirty brushes in the bathroom. Anyways, I'm gonna start applying this right here at the brow bone first, trying to just build up some of the pigment there. Oh wow, that's a really pretty color. It's a nice orangey sort of corally brown. It's kind of hard to explain. It's pretty though. Now I'm sure I'll be going in with a shimmer on the brow bone to finish everything off. So I'm really just using this sort of as my base pigment. That way I can have a set color story underneath it first, then I'll build a shimmer on top of it. That looks very 80s geometric. Let's change that though. So I'm also going to pull this all the way up through to the inner corner and then blown out at the inner corner as well. And then, as before, I'm going to apply the pigment on the other eye first before blending, so I'll be right back. Shwing. Now I've got the pigment applied on both sides, so I'm just going to take the same brush I've been using and start using some itty bitty tiny circular motions. And we're going to see if these will blend in together. I want to make sure I go lightest from darkest to blend instead of darkest to lightest to blend, because it's so much easier for dark shades to take over a look than it is for lighter shades. So we're going to be very careful during this blend and not let the teal get blown out too far. Or the pink, but I'm not really worried about the pink as much. It's much lighter of a shade. And usually when you go with blending techniques like this and you start going in circular motions, pigment typically will be lost a little bit, but it's not too hard of a problem because you can always just go back in, build it up a little bit more, and continue blending. I have finally gotten everything blended the way that I think I want it to be. I might go in with the pink again a little bit later and kind of just zhuzh it up a little bit, re-emphasize it, make it a little more apparent. But for now, I'm going to go in with the Sigma E53 Detail Diffused Crease Brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Serene Sable from the La Belle of the Ball palette. I was actually going to use the Whoo shade from the What a Hoot palette, but I figured I've already used one shade from every other palette but this one, so I need to use it now. And with this shade, I'm just going to start deepening up the crease. This purple is actually lighter than the teal is, but I'm sure once it starts mixing with the teal, it's going to turn into something like a black blue-based purple. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. So it should give me just enough definition on the crease to really make the colors pop and to make my eye shapes stand out a little bit more. And again, following this natural curve I've got, pulling it out into that wing shape. It's not like most of this wing shape's going to be visible once I'm done anyway, because I usually like to clean up my looks at this sort of angle so I'll probably have just that corner left, but that's okay with me. I prefer working my looks in this sort of style because it gives me an idea of the shape and I can fill in the shape as I go and then just clean it up afterward instead. Speaking of clean it up afterward instead, I would definitely recommend that you do your eyes first with these palettes, especially if you're going to be going in with those sequin shades or the glitter shades like I will momentarily, because the fallout from those sequin shades is real. You're gonna have to either spray the brush after you get the pigment onto it if you don't want any fallout, or just be prepared to have fallout and clean it up as you go. Now with this purple, since it is in the same family as a pink, I am going to pull this in all the way toward the inner corner, super lightly though, because I want it to just give me that little bit of definition right in the crease, but I don't want to take away from the pink at all. I might actually even get a smaller brush and take it in there if I can't get precise with this one. Oh, no, that's working pretty well actually. Luckily, this brush has a slight taper to it. You see the point that it's got? That point is perfect to flip the brush right over and go right in that inner corner. I was just hoping it was a small enough point. Okay, now it's applied how I want it to be applied, I think. So without adding any more pigment to the Dalton Transition Transformer, I'm just gonna try blend it out a little bit, make it just a little softer, a little more smoky looking. That way when I go to cut the crease, you'll actually still see some purple and it won't just be a waste of color. There we go. Now it's the perfect softness. It's not too much, it's not crazy, it's just a little boop of purple. Now it is time to cut the crease. So I'm going to be using the Eco Tools Detail Concealer Brush to cut. But first, I'm going to go in with my Garnier Micellar Water and my pointed cotton swabs and clean off any shadow and shadow base. That way I don't get any buildup of texture because that does not look cute either. I think I now have both sides cut the way that I want them to be cut. So now I'm going to actually cut them with the Makeup Revolution Cut Crease Canvas. I've now gone back and forth with the crease shape and size and the edges over and over again enough times. It is now time to move on. I'm first going to go in with the Morphe M124 flat brush into the shade Isabelle from the 5-Star Island palette. I think this is also the shade I'm going to use for my brow bone highlight. But right now, let's just make it our inner corner oomph. I so hope that this shade is as bright as it looks in the pan. I'm so worried about putting it on my eye and ruining everything. Ooh, that's so cute. It's not like crazy potent yet anyway, but it's cute. It's a light, soft yellow. Okay, now I just filled the inner corner with that shade, nothing else, but while I'm using it, I'm also going to use this really tiny Morphe flat brush. I usually think I use this to do what I just did, but I'm going to use it for the brow bone highlight now, and I'm going to go back into the shade Isabella, and that's going to be the brow bone highlight. Oh wow, that brush picks up a lot more pigment, more than I want for the brow bone right now. Okay, here we go, let's try. Whoa, that completely transforms going on top of another shade like that. On the lid, it's definitely yellow. On the brow bone, it's just the reflect. It's got the silvery kind of icy white tone to it on the brow bone, probably because it's already going on a yellow base. So I guess the yellow kind of ties into the yellow that's underneath. I don't really know what's happening. I just know that's gorgeous. Okay, it is decided. This yellow is everything. Now let's move on again, and this time we're gonna roll with a little bit of green. So I'm gonna go back in to the Nook Ink palette into the shade CEO. Oh, that shade is so beautiful. And this shade is gonna go all over the lid. Now this shade is super glittery and chunky. I don't really know, this brush really didn't pick up much. It just picked up glitter, really. So we're gonna see how it looks on the lid. I might have to go in with something else. Wow, okay. Maybe not. That is going to take a lot of building up though. You know what? Actually, instead of this brush, let me start with my ring finger and see what happens. Because on the finger, it's very potent, but it is semi-sheer. It does have a little bit of an opacity to it, which I'm sure makes it a really awesome topper shade. But I cut my crease with a skin tone, so I kind of need something that's going to give me a little bit of color, but we'll see how it works. Okay, that completely changed the shade. Yes, it is still chunky. Yes, it is still glittery, but with it built up, it has much more pigment to it, so it's acceptable. Not as much as I wish it had, but it works. And I'm not being really careful going over the yellow toward the inner corner. In fact, I'm kind of trying to stack it on top of the yellow. That way, once I get it all blended in, I can pull the yellow back out on top of it so I don't lose all of the pigment I have from the yellow. There we go. And now, just gonna take the same Morphe M124 brush in the shade Isabella and go back into a little bit more of her and just reapply it toward the inner corner and pull it out right on top of CEO. Those actually blend really beautifully in together. Without you being able to see the glitter though, it does kind of look like I just have a white base and nothing on top of it, and I don't really like that, but in real life, it looks a lot better. You can actually see the glitter. Okay, got the glitter shade all applied, and I got the yellow blended back into it, so now we're looking pretty fly so far, if I do say so myself. But now I'm gonna go in with this other Morphe flat brush. This one has a little bit of a point to it, so I've got a little bit more control, and I'm gonna use this for the outer V, outer corner, outer edge, whatever you wanna call it. And I think for this one, I'm gonna use the La Belle of the Ball palette and go into the shade Custom Design. I think that's gonna help deepen up the outer portion of the lid, but without making it too dark yet. I'm sure I'm gonna have to take a little bit of the purple and the teal from the outer edge and pull it in slightly just to give a little bit of a connection between the crease and the lid. But for now, we'll see if this will do the job for us. This is one of those perfect duochrome type of purple to browny yellow shades they seem to always do in a palette. And again, we have another very flaky shade. I just got a ton of fallout under my eyes, but it's pretty. So now I'm going to use the same Sigma E53 I was using earlier in the shade Serene Sable and go back into the shade Serene Sable. And now all I'm going to do is just barely touch up right around the crease area where I blended the purple in. And I'm just going to start pulling it down and onto the lid on the outer edge. I'm sticking right to the lash line and the outer V. Now going to do the exact same thing with the Morphe X Coca-Cola brush, the one that looks like the Morphe M503 brush, and go back into water landing and just make sure that I do the same thing. That way, instead of it being a hardcore purple, it's a hardcore purple teal. Whatever that means. Oh wow, that was kind of perfect. That ties the crease into the lid. This is so perfect. Now I'm gonna go ahead and apply all of my face makeup. That way we can come back and finish off the lower lash line. So I'm gonna go ahead and do all that off camera and I will be right back. Got most of my face makeup completely done. Got my lashes on, got my brows done. So now I'm ready to finish off the lower lash line. I'm gonna start with a shade that I haven't used yet. And I'm gonna do my little standard flat brush along the lower lash line method. So I'm gonna use the Morphe M113 brush and go into the shade Woo in the What a Hoot palette. And with this shade, I'm just going to start packing it right along the lower lash line like I do. Right against those lashes. I want it to be the thinnest line possible because I'm going to be blowing it out with other shades. You can actually kind of think of this method like you would if you were going in with a pencil liner, like a gel pencil. You were wanting to smudge that out. Think of this shade like the gel liner shade. You know, you build this one up just a little bit so that you can go in with other shades to blend it out, or a clean brush, either way. And now that that shade's all built up, I'm going to use this Morphe M456 brush and go into the shade Taylor's Ticket from the La Belle of the Ball palette. Taylor's Ticket is the one that's very, very sequiny. It's super glittery. I'm anticipating there's probably going to be a lot of fallout from this shade, which I'm like slightly hoping for, because with this look, I do think some light silvery glitter particles might be kind of cute. I'm just going to start blending out this dark brown with this really pretty purpley pink and just kind of see what color it turns into. I'm going to start just on the outer edge of the lower lash line though, because I'm still planning on going in with another in the inner corner. And then, as usual, I'm going to take the Coca-Cola brush that I used earlier in Nook Ink in the shade Water Landing and go back into Water Landing the tiniest bit. I mean, like just one boop. And I'm going to pull the teal from the outer corner into the lower lash line. Literally just barely. Like I just want it to connect right here on the outer corner, just like that. That's it. Now I'm going to grab that Morphe M456 brush again and just lightly work on the transition between those two shades. I don't really like pulling the crease all the way down and around with the same color, but I do need it to transition. I just hate that disconnected under eye look for myself. If you love it and if you do it, more power to you. It probably looks great on you, but it doesn't look great on me. That is it for those shades. Now the very last shade, I'm going to use the Morphe E36 brush and go back into the shade Celestial. This one is going to be my inner corner lower lash line. I just really like this orange. I think it's a really pretty orange. It works on the brow bone, the inner corner. It kind of works everywhere. So hopefully it will work right here too. Oh, and alas, it does. Wow, and that purple works really well right beside that orange too. So now, with the lower lash line completely completed, let's go in with some powder pressed blush. I don't really know which one's gonna be best. Do we want Mauve Dusty Rose? That'd be kind of pretty. It matches the center of the crease. Or do we want to go Pinky Corally Rose? That's kind of tough, actually. Think I'm gonna go for Flower Tender. So I'm going to use my Colourpop F29 blush brush for this and hope for the best. This also has a bunch of tiny little specks of golden glitter. Did the other one have glitter? Yeah, Flower Power looks like it's got specks of lavender glitter. I wonder if that's gonna come through on the face. Let's find out. Oh, P.S. I didn't tell you guys this because I just didn't even think about it, but every single palette in here, both the eyeshadow palettes and the blush palette, have a mirror. For $12 with a mirror? That's crazy. Well, let's see how this goes. Oh, I just realized I never used the Super Shock Shadow. Maybe I can use it as a highlighter. We'll see. We'll see if it works. Okay, blush was definitely the right decision. This shade, I mean. Of course blush was the right decision. When is blush not the right decision? Oh, the shade's perfect though. I'm actually really glad that it's a subtle building blush rather than a super overpowering blush to begin with. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like pigmented products, but I prefer pigmented products that build up rather than just go on super intense. Then you have to spend the next 10 minutes just trying to blend it out so it doesn't look like a clown anymore. Also gonna give my nose a little bit of a flush here. And my forehead a little bit, and the chin. And now I'm blushing. Okay, let's see if this Super Shock shadow in the shade Balloon Pop will make a good highlighter. It says Ultra Glitter, so I really don't think it's going to. And since it is super glittery, I should probably go on my thumb first. We might be okay with this. It might be a little dark, but think we're gonna be okay. Let's find out. Cross your fingers and your toes. Ugh. It has virtually no cast on my face, so it's not too dark, it's not too light, it's perfect, and the glitter is actually really pretty. Now I know that's got to be because I used a finger application instead of a brush application. Anytime you use a brush application with something that boasts glitteriness, typically the base pigment will not stick to the brush and the glitter will. So you'll just end up with a whole glittery face. Just for the sake of saying I did it and wanting to show you guys, I am going to use a brush really quick just to show you. Let's use the Lauralee Los Angeles L15 highlighter brush. Dig into the Super Shock a little bit. Yeah, no, it's picking up crumbs as you do with brushes in Super Shock sometimes. So we have our crumbs. Let's see. I can see the specks of glitter floating in the air. However, I can also see them on the face. Okay, that's it for highlight. So now we need to put on a lip. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and go off camera. My lower lash mascara applied, so that part's ready. And then we'll finish off the entire look with the lips. Then I'll be able to give my final thoughts on the Colourpop X Animal Crossing collection. I'll see you guys in just a second. Lower lashes are done. Now let's go in with some lip products. And I think I'm gonna combine two of them. A red's not gonna work for this look, in my opinion. I'm very colorful on top, so I feel like I should be less colorful on bottom. I don't really wanna go pinky too much. I feel like, well, I don't know, that might actually work. Well, we'll remember that pink might work. I really like this combo. This is from the Pick of the Bunch Just a Tint Mini Duo. We've got Coconut Juice and Incomparable, like P-E-A-R, super cute. I think I'm gonna start by using coconut juice, and that's just gonna go all over, maybe. We're gonna see what this looks like. Luckily, the Just a Tints are just a tint, so we're not really committing too much. Oh, that smells just like coconut. Tastes like it too. Lips are now done as well, so we have officially completed the entire look. Oh wait, except for the Glitterly Obsessed. I don't really want to use this as a highlighter, so I'm gonna put it in my hair, because that's really the only other thing I can think of to do with it. Since my eyes are done and my face is done, I still want to show it off and have it be part of this look, but I don't want to put it on my face. So I'm just gonna wipe some off into my hand from the lid, Get some out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and get a makeup wipe ready because this is gonna be a wreck. I'm gonna make such a mess right now, but here we go. Okay, I'm gonna squish it in my hands, get the glitter everywhere. Oh, that feels so satisfying. Ah. Oh wow, that is really pretty. Here we go. Are you ready? I'm not. Why is that so beautiful? Okay, well, I've got most of it on my hands still. However, my hair is kind of cute and glittery. I actually sort of like that. Should I style my hair with glitterly obsessed glitter every day? Because I'm kind of considering it at this point. I mean, it's not like I'm ever going to be able to get rid of glitter once I put it on myself anyway, so why not really ingrain it somewhere? I have no way to get this glitter off of my hands. Every time I try to get it off, I feel like it just pushes back onto my hand. Okay, well, I guess it's just stuck there now. So guys, this is the finished look. What do you guys think? I think it's super beautiful, and I'm so glad that I decided to use all of the palettes for the look instead of sticking to one, because I feel like I would have never gotten anywhere near this sort of look if I would have done that. Well, obviously, they're monochromatic palettes, but all in all, I think it's absolutely beautiful. So, for the Colourpop X Animal Crossing collection, would I recommend it? Let's break it up in parts. As a full collection, if you love Animal Crossing, then yeah, for sure. If you know nothing about Animal Crossing and you're just looking for some beautiful cosmetics to have, then some of it, yes, I do think so. However, I definitely don't think that one person needs all of it, unless there's a specific reason you need it. Glitter just keeps coming off my hands. It's all over my pants. Let me see if you can see this. Yeah, it's so glittery. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, so when it comes to the 4 eyeshadow palettes, personally, I don't think you're gonna need all 4 palettes unless you just want to be able to create something with multiple color stories. The purpose for these palettes, or so it seems, is to be very specifically themed via color story or via character. I don't know, it could relate to the characters that are on it. Probably does, most likely. That would make sense. But the Nook ink is mint, the 5-star island is pink, the label of the ball is mauve and purple, and What a Hoot is brown and orange. So if you like any of those specific color stories and you know it's something that you're going to reach for pretty often because you know you do love that color story, then definitely recommend. The quality is there for sure. It always is with the Colourpop shadows, anytime I've tried them anyway. So I do think the palette would be worth your whole $12 if you decided to get it. Wait, did I say they were $12? Also, same sort of idea for the pressed blushes. If you have a color that speaks to you, then by all means reach for that color, grab that color. I do think these blushes are worth owning all of them though, in my own opinion. I try to get them just about with any launch that happens so that I can have a variety of Colourpop blushes. I love their blushes. Like I said before, they are buildable and pigmented, but not overly pigmented, and every Colourpop blush I've ever used has been like that, except one. No, except 2. And I really appreciate that. So I do try to collect these, so definitely recommend both of those, all of those. Same thing for the Super Shock shadows. I also collect the Super Shock shadows, so every one that I can possibly get that I can afford, I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna use it. I typically use Super Shocks for my lid whenever I'm building a matte crease and I don't really have anything to put on top of it. Kind of like what you would do with a liquid eyeshadow. That's usually how I use my Super Shocks, except for today because this highlight is poppin'. Then the glitterly obsessed glitters. This is going to be literally up to you. A lot of people really don't like these glitters. I love them. They are not eye safe though, so don't use them on your eye. And if you do, I mean, more power to you. I'm just not going to be responsible for you doing it. Usually I use these glitters as a body glitter or a cheek glitter, like for the face. Anytime there's any like special occasions or holidays at work or something, it's just a nice little touch to add some glitter. Now though, hair might be a very viable option for all of my glitterly obsessed because I actually really like that. Plus with my hair being like a brownie rose, the gold looks really good on top of it. But the glitterly obsessed, like I said, completely preference, up to you. If you like glitter, go for it. If you don't, then the Just a Tint mini duos, these as well are gonna be up to you and your preference. I love the formula of these because you can get a quick, easy wash of color, and it's not a big deal. You don't have to pay attention to the edges. You don't have to pay attention to the lip line. You can put it on just like a chapstick, blend it out with your finger, and be done if you want to. Or, of course, you can go with a lip liner like I did, really build it up and make it an opaque lip. But it's very comfortable. It's soft. It feels like, kind of like a chapstick and a lipstick combined, if that makes sense. They look beautiful. But for the color story, I would say pick one that just speaks to you. You know, you have your neutrally nudes, you have your pinky corals, then you've got your red and purple. So you can kind of choose your color story, if you will, or you can just get them all and get the whole set for the $36 and be done with it. For the initial launch of the Just a Tint crayons, I actually went through and just picked my favorite shades that I wanted and bought those rather than buying the whole set. So, you know, you can kind of play it like that or just get it all in one fell swoop. And with that, that's the very last item in this Colourpop Animal Crossing collection. But most importantly, I want to know what your thoughts are. Do you like this collection? Do you think it's super cute like I do? Do you play Animal Crossing? Do you actually understand what it is that I'm talking about when I say some of these shade names? Because I don't. So if you do, by all means, please enlighten me in the comments. You guys know that I always love to have a conversation with you. I always will love to have a conversation with you. You guys are my friends. And if you did enjoy this video, it would mean the world to me if you wanted to give me a thumbs up just to let me know that you did. Also, if you like this look and you want to see more looks like them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and TikTok. My username is the same for everything. It's just ChristopherJMUA. And if you gain nothing out of this video, if you gain nothing out of any of my videos, please at least gain this, and that is to always remember and never forget that you are absolutely beautiful. And I love you guys. Bye.